but then the bag house got so that it wasn't. It was a big building with, I think there was 6 sections. There was probably 40 feet long and about 12 or 16 feet wide, and the big pipe from the blast furnace usually blew into 2 seconds at a time, and they had bags, woolen bags, up above these sections on thimbles, and I think there was about around 40 bags, woolen bags that would be anywhere from 16 to 20 feet long, and they were hanging on what we used to call whipple trees, and the fumes from the furnace come in underneath and went up in these bags, and the particles, the arsenic and any particles, they stayed in the woolen bag, and the fumes went out and up through the vent in the top of the roof, and they'd shake there was what we called the top of the bag was hanging on what we used to call whipple trees, and there was a line shaft that about 20 of them was hooked onto, and you could go up to in the catwalk up to the underneath the eave of the building and slip a belt over on a line shaft, and it would shake these bags so the arsenic and the particles that was in the bags would fall back down, and then they, in that process, they worked much better when they were not so much stuff hanging inside them to let the fumes out. But if one of those bags came off, they were on thimbles about, I'd say 15, 16-inch thimbles, and they were pulled down over these thimbles and stayed there with a piece of black wire. If one of them came off, you could tell from looking at the roof of the building that there must be a bag off in one of the sections where the fumes was coming in underneath, because you could actually see the smoke would get darker and thicker. And when that happened, why, if the wind happened to be in the east, if the women had washed up in the village, there was times when some of the clothes got polluted, and even mostly little babies, diapers and stuff, the baby would get a rash and so they were quite concerned. And the last 3 years that I was there, it was one of my responsibilities on day shift to see that all those bags were over the thimbles, that there was none of them blowing off and flopping around and the smoke going right straight up and out the ceiling of the roof. The last few years, the ore that they were getting in, even ore from cobalt, but most of the high silver ore, a lot of it came from the Belgium Congo. It came in drums in rock form, where what came from cobalt came in, as I said, in these big bags in granular form. But it's so high in arsenic that there was no other place in the world that at that time that actually could handle the high arsenic ore. And Deloro was the only place in North America, in a way, where they could handle this. And it got so that they couldn't get the arsenic out of the chambers that weren't in use. They'd be full of arsenic, and they had to move it. And they had, when I first went down there in guess it was 1951, why they had 4 men, and they were taking out 8 40-gallon drums in 8 hours. And so the foreman asked me if I'd go down and see if we couldn't speed up the things. Well, they were shoveling into this stuff was just like flour, and they would pick up a shovel and throw it into the drum and just flew, and they'd stand back till the dust settled, and then they'd throw in a couple more shovelfuls. So when I went down, a lot of people said that I was crazy, but I just took a 40-gallon drum and I used to just shove it into the arsenic, and it would be 3/4 full. And then I'd step back, and when the dust settled, put a 4x4 across underneath the drum, and then tip it back, throw a press cloth over it to keep the dust down, and I'd tip the drum back, and so they could load it on these 2-wheel trucks and wheel it out away from the building. And they were drawing these drums away with, they had a tractor with a loader on it, and they'd lift these drums up and put them on the truck and draw them to the north end of the property and dump them in a big ravine. And even we got, myself and 2 other men, we got up to 64 drums in 8 hours. But even then, we couldn't keep ahead of the arsenic. So when we'd get one of these chambers cleaned out, I suggested to the company that they put a door on the other side that they could open, and they could back the truck right up against the building and let the stuff run right out into the truck. And so the last few years, the last 3 years in a way, that I worked there, and I worked there till the end of, till June, 1st of June 1955. They were hauling the arsenic out, and when they'd open these doors at the back, the stuff ran out just like water, you know, and spread all over the 3-ton truck, and even some of it flew over the sides. Well, then when it quit running, they had big long hose with a big square piece of steel on the end of them on a bar that was probably 20 feet long anyway, and they'd shove them up in this door and pull the arsenic out into the truck. And they were able to keep ahead of it in that way, but there was a lot of people getting burnt, and it was dangerous work.